Hello, friends. Today is Sunday, which means that we have several interesting matches waiting for us, worth watching and cheering for. We are all different, but we are united by one thing, a great game of football. So today we will consider several matches. The first match, let's start with Spain, where we will face two very interesting teams, Osasuna versus Valencia. Both teams traditionally belong to the middle class of the championship, but each of them has its own ambitions for the season. At first glance, it may seem that this is an ordinary match of the second round, but in fact, there is more intrigue hidden here. Osasuna did not start the best, but they are known for their organized defense and tough game at home in Pamplona. They do not have loud stars, but they know how to knock out points even from the giants. Remember how they beat Barcelona at home last season? The atmosphere at the El Sadar Stadium is always hot, and it is not easy for the opponents there. Valencia is in the process of rebuilding. The team has lost stability in recent years, but has promising young players. In recent years, the team has been struggling more with problems in the club than with rivals on the field. However, the start of the championship is always important for them because they want to immediately declare their ambitions. They hope at least for a place in the European Cups, but for this, they need to win such matches. If we recall the history of meetings, then here Valencia has the advantage. They have won more often, especially at home. But on the Osasuna field, the statistics are not so ambiguous. Last year, these rivals met twice, one victory in Valencia, the other in Osasuna. So I am inclined to assume that Valencia will try to win and score a goal in the first half. But in the second half, Osasuna will get a great opportunity to equalize the score, which they will successfully take advantage of. So a 1-1 draw is a completely fair result. The second, but no less loud, match of the English Premier League, Everton versus Brighton. Everton is a club with a rich history, but the last few years have been a real test for them. The team was teetering on the brink of relegation, and each season turned into a fight for survival. But the Toffee is always dangerous at home because the fans at Goodison Park create pressure even on the top teams. Brighton is the complete opposite, a team with a small budget but with huge ambitions. Their game is modern football, fast flanks, pressing, creative in attack. Last season, they deservedly made it to the European Cups, and now they want to prove that this is not an accident. In personal meetings, Brighton often had problems against Everton, but recently the situation has changed. We especially remember the loud victory of the Toffee 5-1 in Brighton. That was a sensation then. Any scenario is possible here, but I still think that Everton will win 1-0 today.
Serie A is starting in Italy. And in the first round, we will get an interesting confrontation, Cagliari versus Fiorentina. Cagliari has returned to the elite and is striving to establish itself there. The team does not have a strong squad, but at home, in Sardinia, it always plays with double the energy. For them, every match against the Giants is a chance to make a statement. Fiorentina has been fighting steadily at the top of the table for the last few seasons and even shows good football in Europe. Their strength is in fast attacks and wing work, but instability often becomes a problem. They can beat the favorite and a few days later lose points to an outsider. In the history of meetings, the Violets have a tangible advantage. Last season, they won both times and confidently. But the debut match of the new season is always a lottery. I think Cagliari will create problems, but Fiorentina's class should have its say. Here, a 1-2 score in favor of the guests looks logical.
And here is the real poster of the day. London Fulham hosts Manchester United. It is always interesting to see how a top club copes on your road against a strong middle-class club. Fulham has proven in recent seasons that they are no longer an elevator team that constantly goes down and comes back. They have seriously strengthened their squad, play aggressively, and know how to punish the favorites for mistakes. Especially at home at Craven Cottage, the atmosphere there puts pressure on the opponents. But Manchester United, there is always drama here. Manchester United started the season with high expectations. The team has a huge fan base and ambitions, but the results of recent years leave questions. United did not start this season as convincingly as expected, but everyone understands that if they want to fight for the Champions League, they must win such matches. Manchester has a complete advantage in the history of meetings. Fulham last won in the early 2000s, but let's not forget, Fulham made the favorites seriously nervous several times last season. Manchester United have the advantage in class, but the team's form raises questions. I think it will be a productive match, 1-1. Fulham has every chance of taking at least a point.
And finally, a real battle in France. Two clubs that regularly fight for the Champions League zone, Lille versus Monaco. This is the central game of the Ligue 1 round. Lille is a champion of several years ago, a team that knows how to upset the plans of the favorites, which plays in European Cups and always fights for a place in the top 4. They are always strong at home, and their style is high intensity and reliability in defense. Monaco is a more stellar team that likes to attack with great forces. There are young talents in the squad that the top clubs in Europe can buy tomorrow. However, the main problem is the defense, which often lets them down in decisive moments. Both teams often give spectacular matches. In the history of matches between these teams, there are always many goals. They often play openly with a lot of chances. Last season, Monaco won at home 2-1 but lost in Lille with the same score. In the last 5 matches, there was no stable advantage. Total equality. I expect spectacular football. Both teams are in good form now, so bets on goals look the most interesting. Both halves will be productive, and the result is expected to be 2-2.
In the next video, we will see how close we were with the analysis of the matches. Thank you for watching my video to the end. If you liked it, then like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the next interesting analysis of the matches.